32 seconds of logos. Clive Barker appears pretty much in name only. He took an executive producer credit, but not before calling out the movie as low-budget schlock with a hack director, and personally redoing some of the bad CGI in post-production. The previous 2 movies were also on Earth, right? So what makes this one different? Hellbound went to hell for a while, but we came back. Movie takes place in New York City, but was filmed in some North Carolina backwater, as if the single establishing B-roll shot is the only thing keeping the immersion from being shattered. JP is portrayed as some bad boy type, but he just comes across as like a frat guy to me. You can't be an effective villain with that baby face. Smoking indoors. No touching. This is the unmanliest smoker's pose ever. Are those Virginia Slims, madam?
The slim cigarette for women only, tailored for the feminine hand.
This is more effeminate than literally inhaling it through your vagina. Bad boy my ass. I guess this is supposed to be that totem pole thing from the end of the last movie. It's definitely received some upgrades. Not that the movie bothers to explain when or how. That thing felt so shoehorned into the ending that the writers could have ignored it. Instead, they based their whole premise and first act on the damn thing.
You want it?
Guy who probably killed and ate the actual owners of this establishment pretends to be an employee instead of just locking the damn door.
How much you want for it?
Whatever you think it's worth.
Handing over a small fortune when this guy probably would have done it for a jug of hooch.
This is Joey Summerskill for Channel 8, Emergency Room. No story.
Isn't the fact that there's no action at a usually busy ER not a newsworthy event in itself? This low-effort microphone prop that just says 8.
Very bored. No life. Really, really pissed off.
Life's so rough being an attractive TV personality.
Joey reined it in, kid. They couldn't have known.
Gee, what a totally sensitive, understanding guy. Not creepy at all. Also, this guy's terrible ADR.
Yeah, well, like you said, it's a mystery.
It's like this throughout the film. How bad is your line delivery when all of your dialogue needs to be re-recorded by somebody else in post? The poor bastard who played Frank in Hellraiser 1 suffered this fate too.
I'm Frank. I'm Brother Frank.
But that's only because he had an English accent, and some studio executive ass clowns ordered a bunch of last-minute changes to make the movie more appealing to American audiences. But that's not the case here. This guy probably just sucks. Phone holsters.
Speak.
Saying speak.
Look, can I take you home? I can go by your place.
Nice guys finish last, bud. What's with these medieval torture tools? What kind of procedure is going to require these things?
The story of your life could be right around the corner.
That's some in-your-face foreshadowing right there. That's like 5-shadowing. Dark, dingy, abandoned, eerily silent. Must be a Hellraiser hospital. If they need someone guarding the door, there's at least one semi-big dude back here. Instead, they make this petite woman risk her life acting as a human barricade. Also, I'm sorry, you can't go in.
I'm sorry, you can't go in.
Were they still rocking these sexist candy striper uniforms in '92? Token goth chick. This dude's exploding head totally makes up for the shamefully censored one in the first movie. Good thing they showed this flatline. There were no other clear indicators that this patient is no longer alive. Finding Jesus on the bus. Holy shit, there he is! Jump scare. Also, what the fuck? Was this guy clinging to the outside of the bus or something? Or was he running alongside the window at 20 miles an hour just to do this? Either way, what an asshole. Too soon.
I mean, hardly any thigh. An inch more flesh, the boys upstairs get hot. Bingo, you're an anchor woman.
Remember when local TV news programs were relevant? How would showing thigh help you become an anchor woman? Anchors are generally shown from the waist up. Cleavage, sure.
Ah, come on, Brad. Give her a break.
Yeah, Brad. Why do you gotta be so insensitive, man?
This is TV. No pictures, no story.
Movie inadvertently coins the pics or it didn't happen meme. This flaming sign was a lot cooler the first time I saw it, in Wayne's World. That's adorable. Coming into this place and basically acting like a narc.
Excuse me.
This guy awkwardly staring at the wall waiting for his cue, and then flailing this molten beverage around for no reason. I mean, it's a neat trick, I guess, and it's clearly foreshadowing later events, heavy-handed and unimaginative as they might be. And yes, I get this place is called the Boiler Room, so there's going to be fire-themed stuff here and there. But he doesn't even hand the drink to anybody. He's not even serving it. He's just doing this for no reason.
Can I help?
Ah, the early 90s rock scene. That weird overlap where 80s hair metal can't quite let go, and grunge hasn't yet culturally taken hold. This is the result.
I'm looking for a girl. She's got dark hair, dark eyes.
Implying you could have a normal conversation in this place without shouting. Also bothering the sound guy in the middle of a set. Are we on the Titanic? What just happened? This swanky restaurant is supposedly attached to the rock club, but yeah, right. As if these yuppie scumbags and punk and metal fans could congregate in the same place without some regular beatdowns ensuing.
I think she's a regular here, and I need to find her. I don't think I'm your type. You see, I'm out of grade school.
Well, that was a failed burn. It doesn't even make sense. Maybe if these girls were teenagers or something, but they don't even look young at all. They look the same age as you. Also asking a guy for help, then immediately dissing him in front of his entourage. Now we're in a war zone flashback sequence all of a sudden? This movie can't decide what it wants to be. Pick a genre and stick with it. This movie shifts tone more frequently than that bad mixtape your last boyfriend made for you. Like anybody wants to listen to AC/DC and the Bare Naked Ladies in a single sitting. I hate to break it to you, mixtape guy. Your mixtape sucks. At least 6 seconds of ear-bleeding baby crying sounds. Unintentional comedy. I usually wouldn't rag on a movie too hard for being the product of its budgetary constraints, but if you're going to film a combat war scene, you should really try to not half-ass it. This is supposed to be Vietnam, I guess, but it just looks like they're in a park or a field somewhere. I'm pretty sure this movie was filmed in West Virginia or something, and it shows. This doesn't look anything like Nam. In fact, if they didn't cut to these mildly racist caricatures of the Viet Cong over here, I wouldn't even know what time period this was supposed to be. Lastly, I don't know jack shit about helicopters, but simply painting one green does not make it battle ready. There's iconic imagery from that era, capturing this kind of rescue op, but this just looks like they borrowed the local news team's Skywatch traffic copter or whatever.
My daddy's still alive! He's still alive! Come back and save my daddy!
Female protagonist of a Hellraiser movie has daddy issues cliche. A whole lot of talking in this scene. This is Joey's apartment. Yeah, life's so rough with this spacious floor plan, loft, and a view. Is this the only picture you have of your dad? It's no wonder you're having nightmares, with this wartime photo right here, reminding you every single day of your father's tragic and violent death on the battlefield. They probably used a military photo here just for the audience's sake, since it's our only frame of reference, because there's no way we'd know who this was if it was a picture of dad wearing a polo shirt or something. I mean, this shit just happened in the movie. We know who he is. Yeah, my attention span is pretty short, but you don't have to be a dick about it.
Thanks. You can have one.
I'm trying to quit.
You have smokes, matches, and an ashtray right there on your end table. That is trying not to quit. Also smoking indoors.
Did you know him?
No. Okay, I've seen him in the club a couple times.
Yeah, so I blew him a couple times. Doesn't mean I knew the guy.
That thing. He's lying there in the street moaning and he's pointing at...
That would have been cool to see. I guess they didn't feel like filming that. Fuck yeah. I'm awesome. I rule. Horror movie logic. If you see a mysterious hole, you should go ahead and stick your hand inside it. Get it real deep, too. There's probably something really cool in there. Holy shit! Rat scare. Underreactions. Smoking while cooking. Oblivious but well-meaning childlike character affectionately tries to make breakfast, but it turns out disgusting. And also your kitchen was probably destroyed in the process, but you can't be mad at them because bless their little heart cliche.
Can I ask, is it always this exploratory?
I don't know,
Burnout journalist passive-aggressively projects her career frustrations by calculatedly dropping 5+ syllable words into casual conversations with dumb people. I think you're using the microwave wrong.
Why don't you go watch some cartoons?
Is this the awkward next morning after a one-night stand? I mean, there's only one bed here. They're still in their night clothes. Joey's got shower hair. Movie doesn't suggest otherwise, so I'm just gonna assume they banged.
It's my first time. I'm a kitchen virgin. I love it here.
So, do you have enough for bus fare, or... I'm gonna need that shirt back, too.
Maybe they're closed today.
Closed every day. Owners in Hawaii. Who the fuck is this asshole?
Thank you, random creepy-ass stranger in the budget Steve Jobs turtleneck, who somehow heard our conversation from across the street and rudely decided to butt in. That was a very useful and convenient piece of information you just provided. We appreciate it. I guess you'll be on your way now. Also dragging your dog.
5 seconds, we're browsing.
Booby pin. Breaking and entering.
You break into a lot of art galleries?
Break in anywhere if it's like raining and I need a place to sleep.
Is it sexist to say I have a hard time believing this attractive young woman has trouble finding couches to crash on?
Check it out. It's the box.
No shit, it's the box. Why did they include this line, which feels like it was recorded in post? She's literally holding up a diagram of the box. Do they think their audience is that stupid? I don't get it. What am I looking at here?
It's the box.
You're JP Monroe, right?
That's right.
And this is your club?
Bimbo's position.
Don't put yourself down. If you have quality, you should be proud of that. You should let that define you, whatever it is.
Damn, this guy's speech is so moving, even my panties just hit the floor. I'll bet we cut to them fucking. Smoking while sexing. Fuck yeah. I'm awesome. I rule. Unintentional comedy. This guy doesn't climax to Seal's kissed by a rose.
So for the last time, would you please put me through to whoever it is in charge of the Chenard Video Archives?
Being a dick to someone you just asked for help. Again. Chenard Video Archive? Smells like a retcon to me.
Who do you think you are?
I'm JP Monroe, right?
Doesn't JP Monroe sound like the name of an investment firm or something? Or maybe a dead president?
Bastard! You get me in here!
Banging someone you just met, then acting surprised when they don't respect you.
You think you're some goddamn prince or something?
I think you both just stuck your dicks in crazy. Horror movie logic. Whenever possible, walk backwards. It's the quickest way out of a tense situation. Character unfazed by bullets dramatically reveals how they stop the bullets cliche.
Now, can we talk sensibly?
Let's talk some sense into whoever picked out JP's undershorts. Also implying you could talk sensibly with a grown man who's weeping uncontrollably while wearing mesh boxer briefs. Useless security staff takes 53 seconds to respond to the sound of gunfire.
This story, Joey. If I can help in any way, you've got my number. All right?
Thanks, Doc. You're such a helpful, sweet, and extra sensitive guy. This guy creeps me the fuck out. Like, I get they're just playing up this nice guy bullshit to contrast with his later form.
Have you seen what he did to me, you little bitch? Have you seen?
But he comes across as such a desperate simp, you just know he's a deviant pervert. I'll bet he keeps jars of piss next to his stolen panty collection and his homemade shrine to Joey. Somebody check this guy's crawl space for dead cheerleaders. VHS.
What else? What else?
If nobody will listen, make them listen. Show them you mean business with a desk sweep of rage. It's nice to see Kirsty back in this cameo here, but as predicted, this is all retconned. There was no mention of any video interviews being conducted the whole time we were at Chenard's in the last movie, much less an entire archive of them, unless it was all done in secret. You know who else has a secret video archive? This fucking guy right here. You know what I'm talking about. Smoking indoors, and at work, and around this expensive equipment. Everyone in this movie just smokes their brains out with reckless abandon. Movie cuts to these balls out of nowhere. Seriously, there's no context for this. Is there some hidden symbolism behind this? Why are you showing us these balls, movie? Lollipop? Teddy bear? Tight, skimpy clothes? Which one of these guys snuck their jailbait fantasy into the movie? I almost let it slide until they had her start fingering the box. I read somewhere that Terry's character was originally written to be much younger, which I don't doubt.
Why don't you go watch some cartoons?
But does that explain why there's so many plushies in this scene? Phone scare. Unintentional homoerotica.
Hey, this is Joey. Speak.
Joey says speak too.
Congratulations. You may not have heard this yet, but you got that job in Monterey.
Well, this sure is contrived. Joey looking for another job was never mentioned before, but it makes for a conveniently timed overheard voice message, so who cares? Also, how does Doc know about this before even Joey does? Is he snooping on our private communications? Of course he is. Also, jobs usually come in the form of a job offer, then perhaps negotiations, before finally accepting said offer. You don't just get a job like it's a prize awarded to you, which is then announced somewhere publicly so your friends hear about it before you do. This is not how jobs work. Also, Monterey. Seriously? You live and work in Manhattan. That is an almost unequivocal downgrade.
Enjoy Monterey, you liar.
Reading.
Not a good neighborhood. People disappear.
I see what you did there.
She put her heart and soul into this.
Subtle.
Now that you're here, it's like she doesn't even exist.
Yep, we get it. Damn, these guys are getting their asses kicked. I'd wake up screaming too if this thing was on my wall.
It's like I must have done something wrong, you know?
High maintenance girlfriends.
You know, I want to hold you. I want to tell you it's all right.
Why is it so important to JP that he feed Terry to Pinhead? All this trouble to track her down, sweet talk her over the phone, get her to come over here, and deal with her drama while totally degrading himself? At what point do you decide this is just too much work? There's plenty of dumb easy babes right downstairs that we know have no problem coming right up here. I don't think Pinhead cares whose flesh he consumes. With all this time you've invested into Terry, you could have delivered half a dozen bimbos up here by now, with basically no effort.
Come to daddy.
They just couldn't help themselves, could they? Also, this works. Dude had all the time in the world to prepare for this, and still totally screws it up. Where did these come from?
Black miracles, dark wonders.
That's racist. I'm joking, obviously, because Pinhead's dialogue in this movie is exquisite. You had hooks, claws, and blunt projectiles this whole time. Why didn't you use these on Terry before when she was only a few feet away? The practical effects are on point. but it's made harder to appreciate when I'm trying not to think about what this mystery goo is. A whole bunch of action goes down while our protagonist is just having a nap. Overly ostentatious sleepwear. Aren't you worried about crushing that bow? Still creepy.
I went further. I was an explorer of forbidden pleasures.
So, pedo, right? What else could forbidden pleasures mean, except for maybe cannibalism or necrophilia? Regular run-of-the-mill perverts don't need to summon demons and step through supernatural portals to look at feet pics or whatever. Besides, why downplay it? You were handpicked to be the leader of the Cenobites, an overlord of sex and pain. That's how evil you were. Just own it, bro.
The box had to be opened to let me out. The truly innocent was safe. Until a friend released me.
Since when is Kirsty your friend? I'm pretty sure she only did this to foil Pinhead because he was getting in her way. This then left you defenseless in the middle of hell, only to be brutally killed moments later, forcing you into purgatory where you've remained ever since.
Until a friend released me. Unbound. Unstoppable.
Guy calls something unstoppable, then proceeds to explain methods with which to stop it. Unsolicited facial petting.
But what if he takes the box from me before...
He can't take it. Must be given to him.
Is this like that whole vampires can't enter your home unless they're invited in thing? It almost feels like they're just introducing new rules for the plot's sake. This gaggle of rejects who auditioned for the role of JP were allowed to be background extras as a consolation. Still adorable. Speaking of extras, are these people not the most authentic 1990s thing you've ever seen?
Shall we begin?
The crowd panics when they hear this line, but barely anyone flinched at this explosion literally 30 seconds ago. The infamous nightclub massacre scene. Sure, many of these kills are over the top and cheesy, and some of the effects look dated and kind of fake, but there's a lot to be said for a movie that has the balls to do something like this. To systematically slaughter every single person in this crowded venue in escalatingly extreme ways, then ultimately pulling back from these barricaded doors as a river of blood slowly spreads below, leaving us to only hear the unthinkable carnage within. And perhaps most nightmarish of all, fewer and fewer screams can be heard, until there's simply no one left to scream. This is a kind of unimaginable horror that stays with you long after the movie ends, and quietly justifies a cultural fascination with the genre as a whole, removing all sins. Meanwhile, our protagonist is sitting around her apartment watching TV.
Speak.
Smoking in bed. I see you, Hickox. You're not allowed to Easter egg yourself. Rushing down this death trap staircase without using the handrail. Device still works even after the power is cut, cliché. Ignoring all of the red flags.
To press the stinking face of humanity into the dark blood of its own secret heart.
Pinhead has some truly chilling lines in this movie, and it's about time they expanded his role a bit and let him chew up the scenery. Why can't Pinhead just kill her off right now? Even with the absurd new rule about having to be given the box. If she gets killed suddenly and just drops the thing, then it's finders keepers, no? Are you both blind? Are they still pretending this is New York, the city that never sleeps? You're not fooling anyone. This is Raleigh-Durham, the city that goes to bed at 8 p.m. A bunch of shit goes boom because explosions are awesome. If you see a storefront display of televisions in a movie, you know it's about to get blown the F up.
Ready for your close-up, Joey?
And here come the puns. Duck, you idiot! I guess it's keeping in the spirit of the franchise that the Cenobites' personality should reflect aspects of their human forms, even if they are super obvious, like the camera guy becoming a camera guy. But this disc-flinging jackass wasn't even a noteworthy character. I think it was that sound guy from earlier. It's like they really wanted to force some CD-related kills into the movie, because CDs were high-tech at the time, and still pretty relevant. Obviously, they didn't predict how dated this would eventually become. Also, I think they missed an opportunity to use laser discs instead. Remember laser discs? They were like giant CDs. Those would do way more damage, like severing limbs and heads for sure. You've got downtown exploding into fire and there's chaos all around. Where the hell is the NYPD? All this destruction and they dispatch 3 noob rent-a-cops with pea shooters and no tactical gear. You're telling me there's not a SWAT team standing by somewhere with itchy trigger fingers, assault rifles loaded, just dreaming of the day they get to blow someone away?
Shit! Gasoline!
Thank God they included this line. Otherwise, I wouldn't have understood this substance was a combustible liquid. Also, gasoline doesn't work this way, but whatever.
That's a wrap.
So I guess Camerahead is just here to spout cringy puns, while Discman and Barbie do all the heavy lifting. Like, dude, maybe help out a little bit? Can't you start blinding people with your flash or something?
Demons? Demons aren't real. They're parables, metaphors.
Then what the fuck is that?
I am the way.
Hellraiser 3 tends to get criticized for being too much like a slasher movie. Sure, Pinhead might be channeling Freddy Krueger a bit here, and yeah, this is probably one of those shot for the trailer moments, but how could one possibly sin something this badass? Impotent rage. Someone gets their mouth fingered in a Hellraiser movie cliche.
Relax, baby. This is better than sex.
If the Cenobites are based on their human counterparts, what the hell is this supposed to be? Piston head? Is it because JP likes to fuck and it's a thrusting thing? Or is it because he likes engines or something? I don't get it.
They're handmade, Joey. A shadow of my former troops, over-eager.
Even Pinhead admits these are budget tier Cenobites at best. What do you expect when you form your crew at the last minute for basically scrapings off the nightclub floor? The Cenobites get murked without a fight while some bad CGI happens. Pretty standard stuff by now.
How did you know my name?
How did you know my name cliche? We all saw this coming. How did you not see this coming? Jesus Christ, this movie isn't over yet?
You'll like her better this way. Trust me.
I'm not saying he's right, but he might be. A bunch more bad effects and really confusing shit happens. Is this the best hiding spot you could find? It's like a foot deep. You know what the box is capable of. Go throw that shit in the ocean or something. If you're not careful, we might end up with 7 more sequels and a reboot. Movies cynically forecast the actual evolution of this franchise, reducing its iconography and lore into mere corporate branding.